stood on the edge of the curb of a busy road, too close to the platform edge, and thought it would be so easy. As somebody who has spent time on that curb, I know that sometimes we don't need to be saved. Sometimes we just need reminding how amazing we are. Something that makes us realise that stepping back is as easy as stepping forward, because we've all been there, even the strong ones. Before my most recent trip to the Kerb, I was doing really well. I was just coming to the end of an amazing summer here. I'd just performed at Glastonbury. I'd been performing poetry for 2 years, and after winning the Roundhouse Poetry Slam in 2009, I'd performed all over the country, and this summer was ending with my last festival performance of the year on the Isle of Wight. I came home and felt off. Not poorly, just a bit off. This developed into flu-like symptoms, and 2 weeks later, I went to the doctors. Within 20 minutes, I was in A&E being treated with encephalitis. Encephalitis is a brain infection, which happens to approximately 1 in 200,000 people. What I thought had been normal bites had in fact been tick bites, which had passed the infection on. Pesky tick. I woke up 3 days later. The following night, I suffered some form of attack, which was later referred to as a TIA, which is like a mini stroke. This led to me losing a lot of the sensation down my right side, resulting in me not being able to walk and write. The days following, I adopted like a shimmy instead of a walk, which led to me getting the nickname Beyonce. Mainly how this was due to how much I shook my tushy when I shuffled across the ward, but also because she's the strongest, most sassy, independent lady of all time. Followed by Adele, Miranda Hart, Joanna Lumley. This is us hanging out. It was a lovely day. Adele's got a lovely hat on, but that is a whole different talk. Maybe one I should have with my doctor. There. I just pointed it at that. There we go. Okay, sad picture. After 2 weeks of being in hospital, I left, and within 2 months, I'd taught myself to walk and write. I began recovery. However, the encephalitis had left damage. I now suffer from severe headaches, problems with balance, joint pain, and short-term memory loss. And certain sound frequencies really caused me a lot of trouble. After changing medication last July, I started fitting up to 20 times a day, until eventually spending 5 hours in my local hospital's resuscitation unit trying to get them under control. Most days, I'm exhausted. I spend 4 out of 5 days in a week in bed due to pain. The bit about long-term illness that isn't explained to you in the discharge lounge is a sense of loss you feel for your life before. Certain friends disappeared. Simple things like answering the phone, checkout noises at the supermarket, you know, the beep, beep, beep. It leaves me close to passing out. Some days I'd spend trawling Facebook and Twitter, seeing what my friends were up to, and beat myself up that I wasn't doing the same. I found myself on the Kerb on February the 2nd, 2013. After another doctor's appointment, I came home to an empty house. I was in so much pain with my head, and I was sick of not seeing a finishing line. You get sick of dragging people you love through perpetual bad news. I scrolled my contact list and realised that nobody at that point could do anything to change my mind. I laid on the bedroom floor and I counted out 300 tablets. Then my phone flashed. An app I downloaded called Princess Makeover, where you get girls ready for a night out, don't ask. A message flashed up saying, "Hurry, we need our facials, big night." That second of distraction made me realise I can either sit here and let this consume and potentially kill me, or I have to do something a little bit magical. Now, I'm not saying these animated ladies saved my life, but it highlighted that I wasn't quite ready to leave yet. So what could I do? All I have is me and a lot of time and my love of writing. I'd always left little notes around for people, whether it be on my mum's fridge door or on the back of bus tickets, left on seats for the next people to find. What about if all these notes found the people they needed to? What if they weren't notes? What if they were letters? Within half an hour, I'd set up 1millionlovelyletters.com. The aim is that if I can actually talk one person down from the curb, then that's a success. The way I'd do it, through letters. In the UK alone, there are 62,641,000 people. In the whole wide world, there are 7,038,044,500 people. The average person has 3 close friends and 19 mates. So take that off, and you are still left with 7,038,044,478 people. And every single one of those strangers has a day where they need a boost. So I sent a call out to every other person on the planet other than me. If you or someone you know needs reminding how amazing they are, I'll send you a letter. Within 1 hour of the website going online, I had 50 emails from all over the world. I was opening emails to storage ranging from 14-year-old girls who had just started to self-harm due to bullying, to the elderly women who had just lost their husbands after 40 years. Stories of abuse, loneliness, grief, self-doubt, exam stress, depression, long-term illness, lost souls, heartbreak, and people who just needed to be reminded that they matter. Some people didn't need a letter, just an ear to listen, whilst others needed reminding that not only were they amazing, but the world simply wouldn't be the same without them. Within 3 months, the project has been viewed 51,000 times in 118 countries around the world, which will, I hope, will kind of light up. So I've sent over 700 letters with 600 waiting to be written, a number that is growing daily. Everybody who needs one gets one, no matter where they are or how big or small they think their problem is. What 1 Million Lovely Letters has shown me is how similar and strong we all are. We are often made to feel worlds apart, like certain countries only exist in our TV screen. I'll explain this lady in a second. In the midst of a disaster. But as I write to the 2 heartbroken girls who have just lost their mums, they sound like exactly the same person. The only difference? 3,167 miles between Surrey and Ghana. I've learnt there is no pattern in the type of person who contacts me. It isn't proportionately women or a certain age group from a certain place. I have written to Betty, who is 86 and is an absolute babe from Boston, Massachusetts, who might be watching. She might be asleep, I'm not sure. Wave to Betty or say hi. Hi, Betty. Wicked. That could be in vain, but thank you. She sent me a picture of her garden, and I told her about the royal baby, and during the Boston bombings, because that's where she lives, I spoke with her daughter to make sure they were all okay, and they were. Or to Halo, who isn't allowed to open her letter until her 18th birthday, 17 years from now. It's kept in a memory box by her mum and dad. Here are the sum of the people I have written to and letters I have sent so far. You might see your face. I've seen some of the people. This isn't in the talk. This is like a side bit. I've seen some of the people on this in here, which is pretty amazing. So later you can be like, hey, what's up? But yeah, Halo again. Okay. People ask, how do you know what to say? What I do is not a remarkable skill. I haven't been divorced or abused or experienced many of the problems people have written to me about. But I have been on the curb and experienced that moment when it feels like the world is starting to crumble. And I've learned that sometimes all you need to be reminded of is that you are loved and you are not alone. My next letter, to add to the 1 million, is to all of you. Some of you might be doing grand. You might not need this letter, but in case there's like one of you, I've written this to you, so I hope it helps. To you. Yeah, you. whoever you are, whether it be on here or the other side of the computer screen, the yous that had a rough week, the you that seems to be under constant storm clouds, the you that feels invisible, the you that has lots of friends but always feels alone, the you that needs to stop the world spinning for 1 second just so you can catch up, the you who put your heart in unsafe hands over and over, to you who would still give them one more chance if they asked, to you who has lost faith, to the lost, to those who think they have messed it all up, to you who wishes they didn't wake up, to you who feels that they can't see a finishing line, to the broken hearts, all of them, to you who lost the person that would tell you all of this if they were still around, to you who holds everybody else together, to you that didn't quite get over it, to you who feels you never will, to you that's held on for too long, to you that blames you, always. You are incredible. You make this world a little bit more wonderful. So on behalf of the whole wide world, I'd just like to say thank you. Don't ever lose your sense of wonder. You have so much potential and so many things left to do. Make a list of all the things you want to do. Whether they be tiny things or bigger things, do them. You have time. Sometimes we spend so much time obsessing over our lack of it, we don't realise we're wasting it. There is always enough. You don't have to do something every day that scares you. There's no fun in being terrified. Do one thing every day that makes you happy. It doesn't have to be huge. Just do it. Because you look absolutely beautiful when you smile. You are beautiful. Every last bit of you. You might rule this as rubbish, but trust me, there is no one quite like you on this whole planet. You are precious. Don't think that you have to move mountains every day for it to be worth something. Some days, you just have to open your eyes. Nobody deserves to be here more than you. You deserve every little bit of happiness because you all are enough. Love, Jodi. Thank you very much, TED people.